All right, let's talk about a legal tool that is seriously a lifesaver. It's for those moments when you are stuck, smack in the middle of someone else's fight, but you're the one who could get in big trouble. So yeah, let's get right into it.
I want you to really think about this for a second. Two people are at each other's throats over something. Could be money, could be property, and you're just holding it. They're both staring at you, both demanding you give it to them. What on earth are you supposed to do? How do you get out of that without getting sued?
Okay, let's make this super real. Picture it. You're a bank manager. A couple in the middle of a really nasty divorce. Both come to you. They both demand you release their entire 5 million peso joint account to them and only to them. So what's your move? Pay the husband, the wife sues the bank. Pay the wife, the husband sues. Do nothing? You better believe they're both going to sue you. It is the definition of a no-win situation.
But what if I told you there's a legal escape hatch, a button you can press that's designed for this exact kind of mess? It's a way to just step aside and let the people who are actually fighting figure it out without you getting caught in the crossfire. This, my friends, is called an interpleader. So what exactly is an interpleader? You can think of it like this. You walk into court, you hold up the money or the property deed, and you say, look, I have this. I don't want it. I don't have a claim to it. But these folks over here are both saying it's theirs. Your Honor, can you please figure out who I'm supposed to give it to? You're basically handing the whistle to the judge and making them the referee. And this quote on the screen, that's the language straight from the rules of court. And it's perfect. The goal is to compel them to interplead and litigate their several claims among themselves. It completely redirects the fight. The lawsuit is no longer you versus person A and you versus person B. Suddenly, it's person A versus person B. And you get to walk right out of the ring. Okay, so how do you know if you can use this? Well, to make it really easy to remember, especially if you're studying this for an exam, just think of the word C-A-N. C-A-N. If you meet these three conditions, you can file for an interpleader. First up, C is for conflicting claims. This sounds pretty basic, right? But it's the whole reason we're here. You need at least two people making claims that just can't both be true at the same time. The husband wants all 5 million, the wife wants all 5 million. They can't both be right. That's a conflict. Next, A stands for action by the stakeholder, and this part's really important. The person who's caught in the middle, the bank, the warehouse, you, has to be the one to start the case. You can't just sit back and wait. You have to be proactive to get that legal protection. And finally, we have N for no interest. This is the big one. The person filing the interpleader just can't have a dog in the fight. The bank doesn't care who gets the money, it just wants to do its job correctly and not get sued. Your neutrality, that is your golden ticket out of the whole mess. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get down to the nuts and bolts, the how. How does this actually play out in a courtroom? Let's do a quick walkthrough of the entire process. It's actually pretty logical. First, you file the complaint for interpleader. Then the court looks at it and says, yep, looks right, and issues an order telling the two claimants, hey, you two, sort this out between yourselves. The court will probably also tell you to deposit the money or property with them for safekeeping. After that, summons go out, and the claimants have to file their answers, basically making their case against each other. So let's use another classic example to see how this works. Let's say you're a company called Zulig, and you're renting a big office space. Your original landlord, Louise Enterprises, says, keep paying us. But then a bank, PB.com, knocks on your door and says, whoa, hold on, we foreclosed on this building. We're the new owners. You pay us now. Yikes, who do you write the rent check to? In that scenario, the smartest thing Zula can do involves this key step right here, consignation. It's a fancy word, but it just means when you file the interpleader, you start paying your rent money directly to the court. And this is an absolutely brilliant move. Why? Because it proves you're a tenant in good faith, and it protects you from getting evicted for not paying rent while the two so-called landlords battle it out. Okay, before we go any further, we need to clear something up. This is a mix-up I see all the time, especially with law students. People get interpleader confused with another legal action called intervention. They sound a little alike, but trust me, they are worlds apart. This chart really breaks it down. With an interpleader, you're the neutral person in the middle starting a whole new case. With intervention, you're a third party who has a direct legal interest, and you're jumping into a fight that's already happening. But the absolute key difference is this. In interpleader, you have no interest. In intervention, you must have an interest. So let me put it this way. Interpleader is about getting out of a fight. Intervention is about getting in one. Big difference, right? So as we start to land the plane here, what's the one big idea you should walk away with? It's this. Interpleader is not a sword you use to attack someone, it's a shield you use to protect yourself. And that is the absolute heart of it. You don't file an interpleader to win anything, you file it to get out. It's a procedural move that lets you officially, legally, and gracefully exit a conflict you never should have been in, and forces the people who actually have a problem with each other to deal with it directly. So let's wrap it all up. What do you need to remember? 1. Interpleader is your shield. It protects you from getting hit with multiple lawsuits. 2. It makes the people with the actual beef fight each other, not you. 3. To know if you can use it, just run through the CAN checklist: conflicting claims, action by stakeholder, no interest. And finally, never forget that depositing that asset with the court is the critical move that shows good faith and keeps you safe. So there you have it, a powerful strategy for a really specific and really stressful situation. It's your way out of a fight that was never yours to begin with. Which, of course, makes you wonder, what other legal shields are out there just waiting to be used that you might be overlooking? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer.